But now it is 8:15, and I believe that they said it's going to be 8:30 the prayer. Correct?
No.
Yes. So because of that, we've got only 15 minutes. So I would like to open the session for question and answer. We talked about fitnat shahawat and fitnat shubuhat. The priority goes to you guys because you're plenty. I'm not sure we're going to be having time for those who are online. So we're going to go to the on ground, not online. Okay, anybody would like just to raise up his hands? The one who's closer to the table, he's got priority. Sorry about that. It's not to do how long his beard. Fadal. So a person who is being tempted to do a sin and then he strives against himself. يجتهد على نفسه. نهى النفس عن الهوى. As Allah said, he had prevented, he had told himself, fear Allah, not to go to them. Is this from the jihad? Yes. Is this rewardable? Very rewardable. When the fitna comes, the shahwa comes, and you just say, oh, fear Allah in your soul, that's very rewardable. Yes, it's from the jihad, which is rewardable. Now, is that? Fadal.
What if you have family here to give da'wah to? Would you still have to then look to another Muslim country to go to, or do you prioritize?
So if I have a person who is got family, like father and mother, okay, not the family as in wife, because wife is going to be with you. So do I have an excuse to stay behind? That depends if your father and your mother are in need of you. Because giving the da'wah these days, you don't have to be physically with them. You could be with them on video and talk to them, because you need to save yourself. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة. All you who believe, save yourself and your families, your wife and your children, from a fire, which is the fuel of it is men and stone. Men, people, and stone. So I need to. It's incumbent upon me to save my wife and my children. My father and my mother is not my responsibility, but I would call them. If they want to listen, they want to listen. If they don't want to listen, they don't want to listen. Abu Bakr, he migrated to the Prophet, but his son did not. So the Prophet ﷺ, he went. So some people had left their own sons because they're not really believers. You save yourself. He immigrated. So many people at the time of the Prophet Allah left, and they left their wives because they're not Muslim. They left their children because they're not Muslim, and they went for the hijrah. Now, alhamdulillah, with the technology these days, you could really give them da'wah while you are away from them. Now, the question, Ikhwani. Faddal, Habibi. Yes. So those 8 categories are only ones who have the excuse of other than what? You don't have an excuse to stay and reside in a non-Muslim country. Okay, so if you're studying now the Jamia, you're one of these categories, but once you finish, you need to go and look for a job in a Muslim country. Because you remember, Ikhwani, when you marry and you're going to root yourself here, you might be able to take yourself and your wife, but if the children grow up, maybe they'll say to you, we want to stay here. It's going to be difficult for you. As I said, once you root, difficult to uproot. Now, right, questions here. For the sister, if you have any questions, please send your questions by a piece of paper. What to do, i.e. we end up being alone with a woman while in a job interview. Okay, a job interview, I mean, this has got your camera there, everything. I don't think the job interview is going to be a place to make intimacy or hope. I don't think so. So job interview is just for, the camera's there and everything's recorded, okay? You minimize looking at the woman's eye, okay? I had an interview very recently with a woman, but, I had my eyes low again because I can't have any, but I had somebody here. That's no problem because you've got lots of people. They could hear you as well talking about what you're talking about. Right, other question is, I think it's the same paper, the same person. Right, is if you have the intention of hijrah later, for example, when all kids are named, what's that? When all the kids are what? Named? I don't know what's named here. Okay, the word is not really Is try okay or when we get mammed? Oh, married. Married. Man, this is like the R and the R becomes an M. When all your kids are married, for example, why do you want your kids to be married where they're going to be married to somebody who's here and logistically speaking, he's not going to be, shift, very, be far, very hard for it to shift him and his wife for your kids to a Muslim country. But if you are getting your kids married in a Muslim country, they will reside there. Okay, it's incumbent upon you as a father as well to give them the right name, Ikhwani. Again, this is a fitna. Some people give them, your son, naming him Paul. How is he going to be Hafiz Quran? A daughter, you're naming her Christine. How's she going to be like Aisha and Fatima? I mean, how can it be? Subhanallah. Christine is going to be Aisha Fatima. Already you've given her a name to set her on a path which is not going to lead to paradise. And that's your responsibility. Ooh. Yes, تفضل أخي.
Some young brothers who study, in your experience, what are some of the things that cause them to come off that path?
If somebody, again, because I'm
From your experience,
from my experience,
the younger brothers who are studying, trying to get themselves, what do you say to some of them?
when they're trying to study, for example, religion, what sort of obstacles they face? Yeah, there are common obstacles for the people who are trying to study and set themselves upon the khair. The biggest obstacle is, number one, to choose the place, where to go, which teacher is going to be having his knowledge. Number two, and that's I would say the same as an obstacle, which is the financial issue, to support themselves financially. How are you going to get? Wallahi, if you have made this intention to travel for the sake of Allah, for knowledge, Anta ala Allah. Allah Azza will look after you. Allah will give you doors where you're going to be now these days. Make money while you are on the laptop. Person making money, and when he's selling and buying, Allah opens doors for you. But be sincere. You will be tested, but Allah gives you door. And I know some people, they went to countries, and there are people who are in that country hardly making money, but he's making money, and he's not a native, he's not one of those people who are resigning, but Allah gave him there, mashallah. So that's the obstacle. Third obstacles, I would say that company. I would say to you, if you want to a place where the company is bad, move. It would be good if you are two together from here, helping one another, supporting one another. It will be very good. Even with your wife shall be with you. So choose the wife righteous to be a student of knowledge with you. Right, further.
With the term hijrah, is it limited to moving from a non-Muslim country to a Muslim country, or can hijrah be considered in a sense where, let's say, you move from an area that's predominantly non-Muslim to an area that is Muslim? Would that be considered hijrah?
Yeah.
What would say?
The hijrah, it's just like the death. We have minor death and major death. The minor death means you're asleep. Major death is a proper death. Hijrah is minor and major. The person cannot make the major one because of number of obstacles, whether it's financial, we can't find a place where they're going to be accepted. It's good to have a profession and learn something that you could go there and use it for your work. That's very good. So you have the intention to finish the degree, because that degree is needed. Used to be before, they used to study this course which is called, for teaching English. That's huh? Settle? Celta. Because there's Tesla now. This one's Celta. Not Tesla, Celta. So you study Celta in order to teach English in those countries. If you can't do this big hijrah, then there's a minor hijrah, and it's a must. So if you are in a Muslim place, okay, which is not Muslims there a lot, go to a Muslim. But there's some people, they leave all the Muslim areas, and they go reside in the middle of no Muslims. No masajid, no Islamic schools. What are you going to do? He's with the sheep. Okay, rural areas, yeah? The sheep. Oh, how you got? So there's no Eid, they could come to the Eid, there's nothing. Where's the masjid? You have to have a masjid next to you. When you reside, go next to a masjid so you could put your kids in the masjid. Link them to the masjid. It's your responsibility, Harry. Don't you ever think that child will grow up and put, for example, together hijab, or that child will put the thawb or read the Quran if you just leave him like this, go to the schools like this, and then when he's 13, 14, put the hijab on. She's not going to put the hijab on for you. You have to teach her slowly, slowly from a young age. So how can you teach her when you are putting her into an environment that there is nobody like her? You send her to school and the only one who's got the hijab is her. And you feel that you are putting her in the middle of the fire. Where's her protection? She's going to ask you on the day of resurrection. She's going to ask you, you're responsible. A'udhu billah. You send her to a school that nobody's got the hijab on. How do you feel that this person, who's this little girl, she's going to find herself on her own, putting the hijab and all of these children, the little one, bullying her and all of this? Your responsibility as a parent, actually. Either you make homeschooling or you take it to Islamic school. There's an Islamic school, alhamdulillah, in this country. There is. Plenty of them. And any Islamic school, even if it is not upon the Salafi Aqidah, as long as they don't really give it the Aqidah, they give it the Islamic, you could say, behavior, Islamic etiquettes of the, alhamdulillah, and watch for her Aqidah. Some of these, most of the Islamic boarding schools these days, there are Dabandis. They're not breakers. Dabandis, they are most of them Dabandis. They are on the Aqidah of the Maturidiyya, but they don't teach your kid. They say Hanafi, what Hanafi? Okay, he's Shafi'i. He's Shafi'i. And they give you a course of Hifz. There's another course, Ka'alim. It makes me laugh. 3 years it becomes Alim course. How are you going to be Alim 3 years? Not going to be Alim, but at least he's going to be immunized. He's got some equipment to immunize himself against the environment outside. So your question, as I say to you, you could make Hijrah. I always make this, Somali people, please forgive me for this, but Small Heath in Birmingham used to be called now Somali Heath, because not so many Somali. Oh, immigrate to Somali Heath, inshallah. And then lots of people there, mashallah, Muslim. They've been there, mashallah. Bradford, it's a Muslim state, a Karachi there. Been there, mashallah, Allahumma barik. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Right, now. Just a question here. Can I just ask from here and here? Yes? If I try my best to pray in the masjid by trying to my manager, I convince my manager, but he doesn't let me, is this the only sin upon me? Your prayer, the Jumu'ah, you have to come to it. The Jumu'ah prayer. Okay? And you are entitled. Work-wise, you can come. You said, I'm going to come to my Jumu'ah. As for your normal prayers, then if you are next to the masjid, then you come to the masjid. But if you are far from the masjid, it's not compulsory upon you. Fadal.
What is your advice for the one who knows that if he wants to make hijrah, his parents will oppose to it?
Right, so my parents opposed to my hijrah. This is one of the questions you asked me, what are the obstacles, the family obstacle as well. Right, the family obstacle here, and then when it comes to pleasing Allah or pleasing your parents, of course, the pleasure of Allah comes first. But also when you please Allah, you don't please Allah in a way that you start being rude to your parents. So slowly try to convince your parents. If they don't listen to you, they could listen to other people. If you don't have relatives, a brother of your father or a sister of your mother, you could have the sheikh, a person who will speak to your father about this, to convince them slowly, because these fathers, they're not really as religious as you are, because if they were not religious, they will never be residing in the non-Muslim country. So slowly, وَإِنْ جَاهَدَكَ, if they have to strive against you to make shirk with their Allah Azza wa Jal, فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا, don't obey them. That's what Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, don't obey them. Okay, and you go and be nice to them, and inshallah be nice at the same time, but slowly, as I said. Al-hijratu amrun sa'b. Prophet said hijrah is difficult. You're gonna find yourself disowned, maybe left alone, leaving your comfort zone. Difficult. So prepare for it and don't just rush it. Prepare for it. Because once you go there and you can't really take it because of problems here or problems there, and you come back, it's going to be difficult to make the hijrah again. Make it only once. So you don't really go back and forth. Prepare for it. In Al-Hijrah, That's why they combined when they made hijrah. Not all of them made hijrah together. So the hijrah of the first hijrah, there was 2 hijrah before the main hijrah, which is 2 hijrah to Abyssinia. How many people got to Abyssinia? Very, very few. Not all of them. Okay, so it depends upon Iman, how much Iman you've got. Salam and Abu Salam made the 2 hijrah. Before the hijrah to two hijrah. And the third one, which was to Medina, amazing. Abu Salama, he has to leave his wife and his son. Because Salama, she was taken by her family. If you're going to go, khalas, you're going to take your wife. We can't really stop you, but we can stop our daughter. Now, when they took the wife, they took the child. So the family of Abu Salama said, you take the wife, you can't take the child. The child belongs to the father. So now, she is trying to take the child, and they tracked the child until his arm being dislocated. The child. They took it from him. So now Salama, she deprived from her husband, and deprived from her son. All of them for the sake of Allah. For 1 year, she couldn't join her son, nor she could join her. 1 year she's been crying. Every day she goes out and crying. Till one of her cousins sympathized with her, and he said we should really make her to go back to her husband. As soon as they put her on her camel to go back to the husband, the family of Abu Salama brought back the child. So she'd been joined now and come back. SubhanAllah, these people make tadhiyat, sacrificial for the sake of Allah. Right, let's go to another question from here, just because I don't know the people. Maybe the sisters. If it's a sister question, and I would say that she put a sister, so I could know and give her priority here. It's 30 plus. Subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka. There's people want to pray. I can't really push that time. Jazakumullah. And by the way, Ikhwani, coming to the masjid here,